master herbalist T.O.P was quoted saying that, I guess maybe when in response, I'm guessing, about how he was able to manifest such a high level of peace, of serenity, of tranquility. He said, not verbatim, but something to the effect of one of the pillars to his peace is living righteously, and that's in all forms and fashion. And I'll never forget that quote. He says he sleeps beautifully at night. He lives a relatively stress-free, worry-free life because he lives right. And once you live right, you don't really have all that much to worry about. I believe everything comes with a trade-off. But living in a righteous manner, and righteous not just in the sense of, in your day-to-day with your friends and your family, you're, for the most part, pretty honest, all those things, but also like your dharma. What you do for work, what you do for a living has a lot to do with your peace of mind. And in this very capitalistic, you could say economistic society, people sometimes segment what they do for work and what they do for a living with separated from any sort of sense of character, moral compass, integrity, so on and so forth. But what you do for a living has everything to do with your karma. Don't think that just because you get a paycheck to do it means that you are exempt from a karma-free, existence or attachment to the work that you do. Peace. I believe that you can manifest anything that you prioritize. So if it's peace that you want, you can have peace, but you have to operate in a fashion that's going to bring you peace, and that's going to bring goodwill into your life. And from what I've observed is the people who don't have good karma, let's put it that way, the people whose vocation or their work requires them, or doesn't really require them, but they do, very harmful, destructive things to other people and living things in order to get by. They are ignorant to the fact that they're not the wise ones. And what do I mean by this? Well, a lot of times it's kind of marketed that like very righteously spiritual people or religious people are dumb or unintelligent in some sense, and they want to make it seem as if being good is the same as being dumb. And sometimes when you listen to certain people's stories who have been through certain things, certain challenges, you'll hear things like, I saw things that I never wanted to see. I heard things that I never wanted to hear. I saw things that I could not unsee. And they feel as if it tarnished them to some degree, some people. And then some people feel as if it made them more intelligent and more wise as far as the experiences and knowledge of what is going on around them, awareness. And you've heard the saying, like, ignorance is bliss. But in the end, when it's all said and done, it matters, but it doesn't matter all that much. Why? Why does it matter but not matter all that much? Well, there's no such thing as escaping karma. And so the wise ones, you may say, hey, I went into the pitfall and I examined it and I met everybody who was down there, and I researched them and I know all this stuff, right? But a wise person may have just avoided the pitfall altogether. And not gone down there and not examined it. So yes, you may have more knowledge in a certain category, but in the greater scheme of things, will that person even need to know about the inner workings of certain things that you know the inner workings of? In Islam, it says that Jannah should always be the focus. That a lot of times, there's this whole idea of living for this world versus the people who don't live for this world. If the ultimate goal is heaven, which Muslims believe is a physical location, but many people believe it's heaven on earth, or heaven is a state of mind. And if the ultimate goal is a heavenly state of mind, then wouldn't it be wise to do things that are in accordance with the heavenly state of mind? Wouldn't it be wise to do things that are going to contribute to a sense of serenity, tranquility, and peace? And so, a large part of life is knowing what to take on and what not to take on. And I will be redundant in this statement and have you fully understand that when people's actions lead them to a lack of peace or fear or whatever it is that it leads them to, did you do those actions? I was talking about heartbreak the other day, and I was saying that back in the day, when I was a little bit younger, heartbreak, like the idea of getting cheated on or connecting with somebody who was disloyal or lacked integrity was heartbreaking, like, I got cheated on, I really cared for this individual, I really cared about them, so on and so forth. But maturity said that why is your heart broken based off of somebody else's character defect? So you have to analyze it further. Is your heart broken because of the fact that you trusted somebody who was untrustworthy? If so, then that's something within. But often we're taking on the character defects of another human being. And I agree, it sucks that we have to share the planet with them, but at the same time, it will bring you a lot of resolve, it will bring you a lot of peace when you have the full understanding that, yes, you may have to share the planet with them, it's true, but you don't have to share the woes that they've incurred upon themselves because of their actions. So when someone mistreats you, or when someone's disloyal or untrustworthy or does horrible things, that's a reflection of their character defects, not of you. And even when someone lies on you, and it takes a certain level of maturity, but I've gotten to the point where I'm not throwing a party about it. I'm not like, ooh, but it bothers me a whole lot less than it used to because it happens so often. So often. So much. I've been lied on so much. I've had to deal with so much character assassination, slander, just lies upon lies upon lies upon lies, to the point where it's just like, okay, whatever. Genuinely. Because all it is it's reflective of that person's character defect. Why am I upset that you lie? I mean, it's not great, but also with my understanding, with my spiritual understanding, and that I don't doubt when my Creator says everything done in darkness comes to light. See, we say that we believe, but do we really believe? Because when you get your emotions entangled and you're infuriated by somebody saying something about you that's not true, then that may show that you lack faith to some degree, because when your Creator says that everything that is done in darkness comes to light, You don't believe? You don't believe? Everything done in darkness comes to light. Every lie gets revealed. Sometimes it's immediate. Sometimes it takes time. But every untruth gets revealed. One of the attributes of God is al-haq, that is the truth. The attribute of believers, the attribute of the righteous is truth. And for many, 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 many years, prophets, very righteous people have gotten persecuted, have been lied on. But the truth always reveals itself. The truth always matters. It always comes to light. And you have to also understand that when the masses can be manipulated, oh well. Always go within and say, okay, lies were brought upon my name. The masses believe those lies for whatever reason. What can I control about this situation? What is the lesson in this situation? What do I have to take away from this situation? Well, number one, it's an opportunity to gain emotional control. Not get your emotions so entangled with this, that. Don't be so reactive. It's an opportunity to become a little bit wiser. Because if you're an honest person, you're assuming that everybody's honest around you. You're assuming it's an honest world. So when you are around and you are bombarded by liars and lies, then you have the chance to be a little bit less naive and understand how much people lie and how often they lie. And then it also is a test study. It's kind of like a social observation about how easily the masses can be manipulated, lied to, and all of these things. And then it also is an opportunity for you to develop yourself, because strength is that no inkling of you, no part of you is within another person's hands. And this is kind of difficult in a world full of people, in a place full of people. But if you are self sustaining to some degree, and you have mastered your emotions, then that means that it's great. I get love all the time, and I love getting love, of course. And it feels good, of course. Love feels good. Support feels good. Encouragement feels good. It feels really, really good. But I've also had to deal with the opposite of that. I've dealt with slander. I've dealt with accusations. I've dealt with falsehoods. I've dealt with being submerged in the opposite of encouragement. People who had nothing good to say about me, very overly critical. Well, was I going to allow that to affect my confidence, my self-esteem? Was I going to allow that to offer a barrier to what it is that I felt like I was here to do? Some of the greats were told that they couldn't sing, or that their music was lousy, or that they weren't good enough, or that they weren't pretty enough, or they weren't whatever, fit the mold enough. Imagine they had listened to that. We would have never been blessed to be able to hear their music or see their talent. So that's also a test. It's not great, because I believe in balance. I believe in tough love, and I believe in love also, the unconditional kind. I believe in criticism. You know what I'm saying? Like negative feedback, yeah. If I'm around Prince, and who I love and have a lot of respect for as a musician, and he says, nah, that's not it, that's not the note. If he, or if he were to coach me and say, you need to do that one again, I need you to redo that song, and I need you to sing it this way, I'm not going to be like, no, I'm not going to listen to it. Like, of course, I'm going to listen to his feedback, So criticism is not the worst thing, especially if it makes you better, but I believe in balance, equilibrium and homeostasis and all those words, all the synonyms for balance. So you may get discouraged, but you should also be getting encouraged. You may receive hate, but you should also, be receptive to love, You may get a negative criticism, but you also, should be able to get the positive criticism too, the positive feedback. You may get shunned, but you should also receive support, And so it may not come simultaneously. There may be a pour of hatred and then an outpour of overwhelming love. There may be an outpour of chaos and then just atmosphere of serenity and tranquility and all that good stuff. There may be nothing but negativity that you are fed and given and that is thrown at you. But then there may be, overwhelming positivity. But balance is inevitable. That's a law. And so it's important to understand that the environment that you're in has a lot to do with your perception of limitations, and that sometimes it is a change of an ambiance or environment that is needed for the next step for you to be able to break that glass ceiling, because you can be very much submerged in an environment that is not conducive to your growth. And it could skew your perception of the world. But with the same thing of balance, with that internal balance, we have to understand that external balance is also applied. So if we are a microcosm to the macrocosm of the balance within the world, I was talking recently, I said, somebody that I listen to from time to time, who I believe has a lot of insight and is a very intelligent woman, made the point that even the nefarious ones, they can never get rid of us all. And they won't get rid of us all. The nefarious ones, they are often heavy in the occult. Occult just meaning hidden. So they have, they have the dumb ones, but a lot of the dumb ones mostly play dumb because they're playing their part. But they're hip on astrology, moon cycles, numerology, your natal chart, all of those things. Sometimes they know more about you than you know about you. Sometimes they know more about your natal chart and your sun, moon, your ascending, all those things more than you know about you. So they're very hip, and they know things. But what they also know is they're not wise, because they would understand that all of their nefarious activity is going to come and haunt them at some point in their life. But and whether that's immediate with their hellish state of mind, or the forces that drive them that they can't seem to shed, and the misery that they feel, on a day-to-day existence, and the sorrow that they feel, that's hell on earth. Perpetual paranoia and fear, that's hell on earth. Misery and anger, that's hell on earth. Hatred, being riddled with hatred, that's hell on earth. A lack of peace, that's hell on earth. It's a hellish mind state to be in. But also understanding that the law of balance is something that's always at play. So they may try to scare you and talk about population control, which is, a thing, but they understand that the world can't be all them. The righteous provide balance. And so, in that sense, they will not get rid of us all. They may try to torment us. They may try to make us feel their pain, their sorrow, to make us feel like them, all those things. They may try to do all these things, inflict their pain on us, but they will not get rid of us. And there's a reason why they will not get rid of us, because of the law of balance that they understand also, that they understand and that they have to adhere to. And so you may be in an atmosphere right now where it's just a lot of them around you. But that should not skew your point of view to understand that there's a lot of us, that we got a whole tribe. And the tribe may be outspoken like me and talkative like me, and then some people in the tribe are real, real quiet and just more observant. But their hearts and their minds are with you. So don't ever lose sight of the fact that you have a whole family. And it may not be the family that you're born into. In fact, the family that you're born into could be one of them. You may have resided in a womb of one of them. You may have been raised by a very toxic parent. You could have a sibling that's very committed to deceit. You could have a sibling that is trying to take you out. That's a part of your test. It could be one of them could have been in your womb. You could be the parent of one of them, you know. So it's not your biological family, it's your spiritual family. Your spiritual family are the ones that are like-hearted, like-minded, are your kin, basically God's people. And we're not few and far between. Maybe the world has become kind of wicked, but there's still a lot of righteous people. So I just wanted to take a little time to remind people of that, just because you could be in a situation where you were losing sight of that. And it's not time for you to give up hope of the fact that, like, other people just like you, righteous people like you, actually exist. Anyways, y'all, much love.